Learn how to draw a face is today's project. Hi, my name is Sandy and this is Sandy Treasures. And today, using very simple materials like legal size or letter size paper and pencil and eraser. That's all you need. You don't have to go get anything. So let's get started.
Start off with drawing a circle. Okay. And then you want to extend it a little bit. Okay, so when you have basically the shape of an egg, okay, and you can divide this in thirds. Like here is 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, right? So there's that. Okay. Now you take this whole shape, okay, that you have, and you want to divide this basically in half. And then this half, you want to divide it in another half. And then this half, you want to divide it in another half. Okay. So now you basically, you want to have the eyes, basically pretend, you can take an imaginary line there. Okay. Okay. Right. And then here, we're going to use this to go inside. And when I say this half here, I'm saying the initial circle that I created, that's half of that circle is the top of the eyebrows.
Do that.
And when I am drawing, I just want to let you know, I kind of like get hypnotized and I have to do this voiceover in order to explain what is it that I'm doing, because I tend to just drift off. Okay. So now you can erase this
some
type
lines.
Of drawing, I've been doing it for years. I create most of my pieces with this technique of creating the face, where I divide it into thirds, and then locate where the eyebrows, the eyes, the nose, and the mouth is going to go. And then, depending on how much of a bedroom I want to. Oh, and then this half here. And this little sketching, instead of doing a hard line and going all the way, it helps because you kind of calculate where you want these lines to go. So don't be hard on yourself when you're doing this, and do these soft lines, these little sketchy lines. And when you are happy with where the line is, then you can go a little bit over the line just to make sure that it's darker and more visible. But these little sketchy strokes are very helpful when it comes to figuring out how this face is going to turn out for your drawing. And I've been doing this type of drawing for years. I basically use this method, and I know there are other methods. I'll be getting into that in future classes. But this is the method I've been using for a long time, forever, when it comes to drawing my faces. And I pretty much do almost the same thing on each one of my paintings, but they always turn out very different. So it's nice to have a base when it comes to sketching, and you can use this for just about everything, and it's always going to turn a little different. Yes, you'll have a certain signature about the way you draw, like people recognize your drawings once you've done it a few times over and over, but it always turns out slightly different or very different. In my case, I think they always turn out very different. So where I'm lining the ears, if the person is looking for, straight at you, The ears are going to be on the very top of the eyes, on the eyelids, basically. The top of the ear lined up with the top of the eyelids, and the bottom of the ear lined up with the nostrils. So sometimes I don't speak when I'm actually doing the drawing, and I have to do this voice over because I get mesmerized. I get so into it that I kind of like drift off. And the sound of the pencil, there's something about the sound of the pencil that just, takes me out. Maybe you'll find this out too for your own experience, that it's very calming to hear the sound of the pencil on the paper. And to me, it's not just calming, it's so pleasing. Once I have everything figured out, then I come back again and I retrace some of the lines to make sure that everything looks right. So, like around the cheek, around like the face, like make sure that everything is balanced out. The eyebrows, do they look right? The nostrils, are they lopsided or are they balanced out? So, all of those things I go over once I have everything figured out. And when you're doing this drawing, you can actually put a mirror in front of you and you can look at your own face or take some pictures and use the computer right in front of you with a picture of your face straight forward. It actually makes the project a little bit more interesting when you're using your own face. I am using my face a little bit as reference, but I'm way older than I'm drawing this character right here. So, and I don't really like the way my face looks like, so I'm not going to put it on. I mean, I'm happy with my face, don't get me wrong, but I don't want to have my face on the video all the time, where I get to study, how my features look on video. I'm just not going to do that. But if you do this for your own, like, as for your own exercise, as you're drawing this, you're going to find it a lot more interesting because your face, the picture of your face is going to be a guide. And don't put the pressure of trying to make anything identical because this exercise is not about that. This exercise is just about making things look cohesive, making a face look like a face. And I'm doing the second one because I want to do a different hairline. On the first one, I did. It seems to me that I should have chosen a different hairdo because we want to see the forehead and everything. But, it's a good exercise anyway. But I also have a little bit of distance in between me and the project I'm doing at the moment because the camera is right on top. So I'm having to keep a little bit of distance from my project. And I noticed that it seems to me that I'm leaving a lot of forehead. So this time I'm doing it over again and I want to do a different hairdo and it's going to go quick, you'll see. And another point I want to make is that as I'm doing the second one, that I'm doing exactly the same thing. Well, not exactly the same thing, but I have the same process and I am getting a totally different girl here. So just to make a note of that, no matter how many times I've done this, it always comes out slightly different. This series of how to sketch, I'm going to be doing that for a few, probably a few months. I'm not really sure. So hopefully you'll stay tuned and you'll join me for all of these up and coming videos. And if you have any questions, of course, please leave them on the comments and I will do my best to answer them. So as we make progress with these videos, I'm pretty sure you're going to want to know certain aspects of drawing, and I'll be more than happy to answer. something I like to mention as I'm drawing this project here is that although we have AI and art is pretty much dying, because there's no real need for art. So if you do this, it's basically for a lot of you guys are probably going to do it for personal satisfaction because now you're in a position that you can actually do what you want to do, and maybe drawing is one of those things that you always wanted to do. So just to let you know, there's something about drawing that is actually very relaxing to and very satisfying to a person. For me, it's very satisfying. And it's also a way that I utilize a lot for calming my mind. If you're not tuned with that aspect of drawing, just pay more attention to how your mind can be just 100% engaged on the project that you have in hand. And it's a lot more relaxing than when you have so many thoughts in and out of your mind. So, in essence, if you're not going to be a professional artist, you can use art as a tool to engage your mind and create something beautiful and relax your mind from all these overlapping thoughts. Personally, that is one of the things that I look forward to when I engage in a project like painting or drawing, because it really does take all my attention. So we come to the end, and I just want to thank you guys for joining me, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.